The following program is for adult audiences only. The following program is for adult audiences only.
Wicked drowning water. Welcome, everyone. Time for another episode of the Flavorist Diary. Yes, folks, this is episode 6, and I've got so much stuff to talk about today. I've been really dying to make up my own Neotame. I've got this extra sweet here from Capella, and to me, it's just as sweet as super sweet. And it's like, what's the point in using that if it's not a more potent, more concentrated flavoring that you can throw into a pod system or into a mouth-to-lung tank? So Neotame is a solution, but we're going to have to make our own if we want something that's going to be stronger than what we already have in our repertoire. And this is part 2 of the TFA flavor pack. It was the 2025 flavor pack. They released it last year, but I'm just now getting around to it. So we got 6 more flavors to take a look at today. They're in the thumbnail right below us. We've got watermelon juice. We got Fuji Apple. We got mangoes. We have bubblegum, pink variety. And we have this like gushy, juicy, gummy flavor. So that's why you got the colorful gummy worms there. And they also have a Stevia sweetener from TFA that you can use as an alternative to, super sweet, or TFA sweetener previously was a 50-50 combination of ethyl maltol and super sweet. So we're got so much stuff to talk about today. And as you saw on the, little rotation thing in the beginning of it, we do have some vape mail to open up today. And that's going to allow us to be able to make our own Neotame sweetener. So without further ado, let's flip overhead and let's take a look at all the stuff we got. Hot diggity dog diggity, man. Do I have a whole bunch of stuff here? Move the scale off to the side. We will get to that shortly. Move my phone out of the way. This is my last bottle of propylene glycol. This was what I originally bought. When I first decided to make my own e-liquid, my very first bottle of it, I ordered a kit that had this bottle of PG. Oh, why is it so dark in here? Anyway, it had a bottle of propylene glycol, 500 mils of it, and 500 mils of vegetable glycerin. And it's still available for sale here in the United States on Amazon. You can buy both of them with vegetable glycerin. You can buy one propylene glycol, one vegetable glycerin, or you could buy 2 bottles of propylene glycol to essentially get a liter of this stuff. But we're going to be using this today with our packet of Neotame that we purchased. And that's the one thing. If you're going to be making your own sweeteners out there, you cannot just buy willy-nilly whatever sweetener you see out there. Like, we all know that sucralose is a commercial sweetener that's available out there, right? But you can't just go and look up and say, okay, well, who makes sucralose? Oh, that's Splenda. Oh, I can just go buy to the grocery store. I can just go buy a bag of the Splenda. No, you can't do that. Why can't you do that? Because when you look at that bag of the Splenda that you use to sweeten your coffee, you'll notice that it's not 100% super sweet. It's not 100% sucralose. It is actually maltodextrin, which is a form of sugar that's used to bulk up their sweetener, and they have it with your sucralose. So if you want to go and make your own super sweet, you need to make sure that when you buy the sucralose for that, it's only sucralose, 100% sucralose. Just like this is 100% Neotame. And technically, if you're using this in a large quantity, you probably should put a face mask on or a respirator, because these are truly ultrafine particles, and you don't want the full strength stuff getting into your lungs. But we're going to take some precautions, and we're going to use this to mix up our own stuff. But once you get in the habit and you get the right equipment to be able to make your own, you're not limited to just making the Neotame. You can make the super sweet by buying 100% sucralose. You can make your own WS23 by taking the actual WS23 crystals and dissolving them in PG. And you can do that same thing with other stuff out there. One of the things I originally purchased when we first got into vaping and doing our own DIY stuff, because I wanted to make my own, was erythritol. And then the studies came out and said, well, that's not good for you to be breathing in. That is a carcinogenic compound and in higher quantities, and you don't want to be breathing that in. So much for the erythritol. It's gone by the wayside. But that's not to say that you can't make your own stevia flavoring, because like the original Capella flavor that I have, the grape flavor, was already sweetened. And that's not it. Where is it? Probably with the G's, since it's grape. There's the harvest berry. Did I finish that off? No, there it is. The Concord grape from Capella. This one's already pre-sweetened with stevia. So like all this time, I've just been naturally putting super sweet in everything I mix up. I don't really need to. If I was mixing just this up, it would probably be a beautiful Concord grape just with the stevia that's already inside it. So you don't need to supplement it. That's why you have to think of these things as enhancers. So like if you got a recipe and you like something, but you need to enhance it, well, then you can get sweeteners as one of the things you can enhance it with. Or like the sour things, here's citric acid and here's malic acid that I had bought. Both of these can be made into a solution just so that you can replace like TFA sour with your own sour. Malic acid at 10% and citric acid at 10%. And these are things that I had purchased a long time ago, and it was like, okay, worst case scenario, they ban it all or they tax all of it to oblivion. I could always make my own stuff. That's why I bought this stuff a long time ago. And according to my Amazon records, I already did buy sucralose, 100% sucralose, 100-gram bag of it. It's supposed to look something like this. You know, it's a sealed pouch and something that, you know, I can use to make my own. But I can't find it. So I had to order another bag. And if it ever turns up, I'll have more sucralose than I'll ever be able to use my entire life as a DIY mixer. Neil Pitts, hello and welcome. Awesome to have you here. Yeah, so, you know, here's some citric acid. Here's malic acid. This is 1 pound of each. And when you look at the ingredients, the only thing that's in the ingredient list on this one is citric acid. And the only thing on the ingredient list in this one is malic acid. There's no fillers. There's no other flavorings. It is 100% pure. And that's what you need if you're going to be making your own stuff. Be aware of what it is that you're actually putting into your things that you mix up. Now, the other thing that you obviously need to have if you're going to be mixing this kind of stuff up my goodness. You need to have yourself a hot plate magnetic stir. And that's because in order to get this to fully dissolve inside of propylene glycol, it needs to be heated. Once it's fully dissolved in there, it should stay in solution and you're good. Especially if you try and mix it up, you know, at a lower concentration. Like if you were to make sucralose at 10%, you could mix it up, and as long as it's like even a sunny day, you could probably mix it up without a hot plate. And you just use yourself one of those little frothers or a, you know, the little hand mixers that they have. But for me, especially because I like my air conditioning, and this studio, if I can help it, never gets above 70 degrees Fahrenheit, I need this in order for the solution to actually mix together properly. So let's get this opened up. This was actually a Temu special because I could pick it up there for $35. And yeah, I know it's some cheap Chinese concoction, probably a copy of somebody else's. But I could go buy the exact same thing on Amazon for $50. So I just did it to save some money. So let's take a look and see what she got. We've got a stand. And we have an arm for that stand. We have a little bracket that we can use to attach the heat probe and stuff to. And there we go. There's our little magnet that we need for it to work. I really wish the studio was bigger, but you know, we'll make do with what we got. So we can attach that onto our hot plate stirrer. Here's what the display looks like on it. You can adjust the speed of the magnet, and you can adjust the temperature and the heat that's applied to this. You can see in the bottom, there's the heating element that goes around the top of this. And so we slide this on top of there. And it comes with a thermostat probe. We can sit here and apply. I should probably put this in the other way. So let's tighten this down. And you're like, cool, but what are you mixing it in? Well, that's what's sitting on the stand behind me. So if you'll excuse me for a moment, here's our magnetic mixer. Here's our 6 flavors that we're going to do as single flavor test on today. Matter of fact, I should probably start with that first. Nah, we're going to open stuff up. Who doesn't love opening stuff up? Makes you feel like it's Christmas. All right, so last but not least, I'll push this off to the side. I needed some glass beakers. More specifically, a 250 ml beaker that we can take and put all of our solution into. We can take and put our Neotame in it, and then we could measure out and pour the correct amount of propylene glycol in there. And bada bing, bada boom, with a little bit of heat, a little bit of time, a little bit of agitation, we're going to be able to make our own Neotame. So let's get this opened up. Oh, look at that. It's like a set of Russian dolls, stacked one inside the other. And this thing was only like 16 bucks. And I'm glad, because I got all this packaging, because I still got to send the girls packages out. Holy moly. You could make a whole liter of stuff if you really wanted to. I don't think I need to do that. So let's work our way down. Here's the 500 ml beaker. And I'll just carefully put them back in there. Maybe I should put that bubble wrap in there. There. Next. Here, that's what I need. 250 ml beaker. This is cool, man. I feel like a mad scientist here in the lab. mixing my own stuff. You can order these replacement pieces on Amazon if you need to. But yeah, there you go, man. I'll take all the smaller ones, push them off to the side, put them in the big beaker, and there you go. We can make our own stuff. We have our temperature probe. It's going to let us know how hot it gets, and we can adjust the temperature to make sure we don't go too overboard with it. And I don't care how long it takes. If I have to turn this thing on and it's only a 100-watt heater, as long as it can heat that solution up to, you know, like 90 degrees Celsius, this stuff's going to fall into solution real quick, and then it's just a matter of decanting that into a couple 120 ml bottles, and I'll be set for life, man. When I bought this Purellum, I think this one sent me back like $12 plus whatever else I ordered to get free shipping. I think the price has gone up a couple dollars since then, so it's probably like $15 now. But for $15, I can buy a bag of sucralose, 100% pure sucralose, for the same price or less than that. Now, that's not the case with the Neotame, but sucralose is 600 times sweeter than sugar. Neotame is 6,000 times sweeter than sugar. So you need much less of this to do the same job, which means I'm going to have a lifetime supply of it just for that one bag alone. Pretty cool. And save myself $20 compared to what it would have been had I ordered it from Amazon. And the thing is, because they sell the exact same model on Amazon, you know, if it works fine but doesn't last long, I could always order from there and, you know, get the warranty. And then once I have the warranty, if it, you know, fails prematurely, so what? I can get it replaced for free. It's worth the extra 10 or $15 sometimes when you have something like that. And for me, I only need to make a couple different things, and then this will probably be just sitting there on my desk collecting dust. But at least I will always know that I have the equipment I need to never have to buy this stuff from the places we get our flavors from. And yeah, came with the right plug on the end. I see that as a bonus. There's been plenty of times I ordered stuff, you know, that came from like a European market or came from, you know, directly from China, and you never really know what kind of end they get. There's been times where they sent stuff that had like the European end on it, and then they give you a little plastic adapter that converts the input from, you know, your 2-prong to the American style plug. But hey, man, if it works, it works. It's all I care about. Let's put this off to the side, and we'll get to this after we take a look at our flavors for today. Nice. Just throw that on the ground. And here's the 6 flavors that we got to talk about today. Oh, and I did finally finish off my DVD series. All DVDs were 100% functional. And it was nice getting caught up on that. All right, so we got mango. And we have Fuji Apple. Those are the 2 we're going to start off with. And then we also have watermelon juice flavor, pink bubblegum, gummy fruity gushy flavor, and last but not least, we have a sweetener from TFA, Stevia. I never realized that they didn't have Stevia before. Wonder what took them so long to bring it out. All right, so let's start off with our mango. I also got some new bottles. Because, like, ordering the 30 ml bottles that we make up every week on our random recipes, it was getting to be pretty expensive. So, you know, I still got my 60 ml bottles and stuff that I used whenever I actually make up, you know, bigger batches of it. But for individual testing, this was way cheaper. I ordered 100 of these bottles, and they have the, glue, Elmer's glue style, tip on the end of it. And I think this was only like $16 or $20 or something. So it was like 20 cents a piece. And I think that's going to be way cheaper than us using the Gorilla bottles, especially considering, these are just for testing. So even if, I want to be lazy about it, I could literally rinse this stuff out and recycle it, or I could rewash it and run it through the dishwasher. But this is the high density polyethylene bottle. And that's going to be pretty cool. So I'll leave this one out because we're going to have to do a single flavor test of that. We're going to do a random recipe before the show's over today. And I better get moving because, I didn't prep the bottles beforehand. My computer has been giving me issues, and there was an update for OBS that I've been looking forward to, and they finally released it, which kind of fixed some of the problems they had with their audio mixer. People were complaining about you couldn't shrink it small enough for the way that they like to use it, so it's been fixed. All right, so we're going to start off with our mango sweet, and we're going to mix that up at 5%. As soon as I bring up the recipe, I should have it memorized by now. I've made enough single flavor testing. Very good, very good. Okay, so 0.5 grams. Actually, I should have been able to do that in my head. 5% solution of a 10 ml bottle. Half a gram. Smells really good. Ooh, yeah. Wow, that's a nice, bright, ripe mango. It's supposed to be sweet. Yeah, I like that. Sweet mango flavor from TFA. There's no off notes on the tongue. It doesn't really dry my mouth out. Like where it made contact with my tongue is drier than the rest of it. But because of that sweetness already being in there, it's more like a juicy mango. And I'm salivating like crazy because of it. You know how sometimes when you taste, knuckle test a flavor compound and it's like really astringent or really chemically, and you can dry out your mouth. This one doesn't do that. I really like it. This one's actually like mango juice. Cool. All right. So I need 1.97 grams of PG, which you guys see Grim Green's video talking about how DIY and vape juice is going to get more expensive because of this war that's going on and the Strait of Suez or whatever. I got on Amazon. I'm like, I had one I added to my list that I was planning on ordering. And now that I'm going to be mixing up my own stuff, and this is literally the last bottle of unopened bottle of propylene glycol I have. I finished off the other one. This is a 32-ounce bottle of it from Bella Chemical, 100% propylene glycol. This is no longer for sale on Amazon. But they do have plenty of other sources of PG out there. But yeah, I saw that thing from Grim and I'm like, I was kind of holding off on the PG because I got enough between what's decanted in this one and what's decanted in my other bigger bottle that I have. And I got this one here. I'm like, I really don't need it. I probably won't need it for another 6 months. But after seeing his video, and I'm like, you know, it's not worth taking a chance. I got on Amazon, ordered a gallon of it. There's only going to be $23 for a whole gallon of it. It'll probably last me the next 5 years, if not longer. All right, 1.97. Okay. In vegetable glycerin, we need 8.83. Almost. You get your VGPG off of eBay. Who's it? Mowgli Vapes told me the one time order from Nature's Oil. And you can actually buy Nature's Oil vegetable glycerin on Amazon. And it's actually the same price as if you bought it from them on their website. Cool. To get a little lid, little nipple. Let's get 6 of those out. 2, 4, 6. Give this a good shake. I learned. Use my thumb. That way I don't get concentrated flavoring stuck in that little nipple there. So I use my thumb to shake her up. Then I put the nipple on. Get the caps out. Keep these in a shaker bottle. 4, 6. I thought this was going to work perfect because I could just, open it up and dispense them individually. Doesn't always work that night. But yeah, that really smells wonderful. I'll do a quick test with the Capella Sweet Mango. Definitely smell completely different. This one's a lot punchier and astringent. A lot smells like the skin on the mango, not the juice part of the mango. And it's tough for mangoes to get really juicy because they're typically a really thick texture to them. Ugh. It's got like that sour characteristic that hits the back of your throat. It's not chemically per se, but it is definitely not like smelling a peeled open picture of the fruit like you have here. It's more like you bruise the heck up with some sandpaper out of the skin of the mango, and that's what you were rubbing against your nose to get the smell of it. Definitely got that. I don't even know what that characteristic is. All right, so let's try this one out. Now that we got her giving it a good shake, we'll give a knuckle test of this. Ooh, this is way better than Capella Sweet Mango. Makes me want to revisit some of the recipes I mixed up. Because my wife was all about mango juices for a while there. So I made a bunch of other people's random recipes. I even whipped up some of my own to try and get it more to her liking. This is way better than Capella Sweet Mango. For sure. A lot juicier. It's sweeter than the other one. It isn't just because like that sour characteristic is missing on this. I mean, you can definitely tell it's mango and not some, fruit juice that you bought. But way more enjoyable. And it's not just because of the sweetness. All right, I'm going to segregate these things and put the labels on later. So I will, as we test them, move them off to the side. And then after the show today, I'll actually put the labels on them. Because I want to plow through these because I'm really excited to make our own sweetener. Watermelon juice. What is watermelon juice? Doesn't smell like watermelon juice. Not that watermelon juice is very fragrant. The only reason I know is because my wife actually used to love buying watermelon juice. Forget what the brand was. It wasn't Minute Maid. Doesn't smell floral. Doesn't smell like the rind. It smells like watermelon candy. You know the white part of the pith from your watermelon when you go to peel it off, if you leave some of that white stuff on? That's kind of what this is reminiscent of. It's not the green part of it. It's not the outer part. It's just like if you barely get, if you're like trying to be conservative and not like waste any of the watermelon when you're, taking the rind off of it. That's kind of like what it's like. But it's honestly more candy watermelon than it is anything else. Who joined us? Who popped in? Sean Lynch, hello and welcome. Hope you all have a happy Easter this weekend. I just came to realize today's Good Friday and this is Easter weekend. Holy cow. We're already in April? I'm glad I missed April Fool's Day. I was so busy doing stuff I didn't even pay attention to it. I was like trimming branches. Finally cut down the stuff that was growing underneath the actual pear tree we have in our front yard. That 6-inch chainsaw I picked up, man, she really plows through the wood good. I even cut a branch that was like 4 inches across in the backyard. I've got a maple tree that's growing, and at the very beginning, it had a shoot that came off of the bottom of the trunk of the tree, literally like maybe 2 inches off the ground, and it shot off to the side. And we never dealt with it because it was always in the pine trees, and then the pine trees got cut back and got cut out. And this year I was like, you know what? This could be the final test of this little 6-inch chainsaw. I took it over there, and it didn't take very much for it to start to bind and get in there. So I had to attack it from multiple angles going around on it. And then I finally got on the upwind side of it and cut into it from 2 different angles there. And then I had to finish off cutting the center part of that branch out by using the tip of the blade. And it was very easy to control it. And it actually cut the whole way through that 4-inch branch laying on the ground. And it had no problem cutting it up. So my wife's actually got a nice stack of wood by the burn barrel for her little shindigs that she likes to have. So that was a lot of fun. Got me outside and got me to get some nice sunshine and enjoy the weather. And naturally the dogs are outside with me when I was doing this. So they really had a good time too. I appreciate you guys coming and hanging out with me for the show, because like this really forces me to keep working at this, and eventually I am going to get through my 800 some flavors out there. little premature. I need to put some vegetable glycerin in there. But yeah, having the show week after week guarantees I'm actually going to get, at least 6 flavors done each week. So I'm just going to go all the way to 10 because I did not tear this out. Whoops. She went over a little bit. Watermelon candy. That's what it tastes like. Watermelon juice. Maybe. How are you gonna replicate the actual mouthfeel of a watermelon juice? I don't know. I'm gonna have to go to Golden Dawn and pick up a half gallon of it and bring it home. Actually, compare them side by side. But the mental image I have and the flavor I'm getting is strictly watermelon candy. Not sickeningly sweet, like it's a hard tack candy. The intricate nuances of watermelon are there. No rind flavor to it whatsoever. So that's going to be interesting. How that pairs well in some of the other recipes. All right. Set that off to the side because we need to move on to Fuji Apple. We'll have to have another apple. Ooh. That's got a chemical smell to it. Ooh, yuck. Hit the back of my throat real hard. But I am getting a Fuji Apple smell, aroma. Let's compare that to Capella's. Capella's Fuji Apple has a much more subtle odor to it. Kind of like if you took a Fuji Apple and you cut up a bunch of slices of it in a bowl and then picked up the bowl and wafted in to your nose. Almost like a yellow apple. Different presentation. It's still super concentrated. Got kind of a funk to it. This one didn't really have that. Yeah, it was super concentrated, but not add. Okay, half a gram. When have you guys used Fuji Apple instead of double apple? Or do you use both? Okay. .83. I guess it's supposed to be Fuji Apple. It's got some kind of a funk to it. There isn't a whole lot of sweetness there. I guess if I was vaping this, it would end up presenting as something relatively accurate for Fuji Apple.
Attention
You
everyone.
get soap.
According to Neil Pitts, I get soap from it. That is all.
I've had some flavor combinations that gave me the soap taste before. Fuji Apple isn't one of them. Let me try that again. Feels like I just bit into a Fuji Apple and I'm sitting there chewing on the skin. And I took a shallow bite, so there isn't a whole lot of meaty flavor to it. Or that apple juice being created as I chew it up. Definitely more accurate than Capella's. So we're going to have to make a little tester of this one because I want to compare them side by side. So I'm going to set this off to the side. This will be off there for me to finish and make a tester for this one so I can actually do comparison. Now, there will be a couple PDFs going up on the Discord server this week. I came across, when I was doing the research for this week, I came across some folders I've had where I've downloaded PDF files from other mixers than before. And actually, one of them is now being published on Amazon and Google. I guess you can buy it for $5 or something. I got it originally from the guy that wrote it when he published it to his website. And, you know, if you look at Reddit posts and stuff, there's still links to his website, but he hasn't updated his website. There's no security certificates applied to it. That was back in the day before HTTPS was a requirement. So like none of the browsers now will actually touch it because he never updated his website since then. But I have the original files that downloaded, and they're going to go up on the Discord server this weekend. So if you're looking for some information, some random little tidbits and stuff that this guy put into his book, it's going to help guide you. If you're like a completely brand new mixer, it'll teach you, you know, just the basic fundamentals of it. And it's even got like percentage recommendations for some of the flavors and stuff that they were mixing. And there's a handful of recipes inside there that you can try yourself. But yeah, I'll be uploading those to the Discord this weekend. And I will upload the first of the reviews for Bull City Flavors. Probably Monday I'll get to that. Bubblegum, pink bubblegum. Yeah, it definitely smells like bubblegum. See, this is... I wanted to say that this reminded me of the El Cheapo Bazooka bubblegum we used to have as kids. It was hard as a rock, and the flavor lasted about 2.5 seconds. But this is more like juicy fruit, but a pink gum. Not a white gum with fruit flavors. It does smell like pink gum. Like the picture in the thumbnail. Like sticks of pink gum you bought at the candy store. Super soft. Wow, the smell of it's 100% right. I did not expect that. Oh, and Neil, I did take your advice. I did mix up a bottle of Purellum, 2% super sweet. That's all that's in there is VG, PG, and 2% super sweet. So that when I single flavor test them in the drippers, I don't have to actually add the sweetener to the bottle. I can just drip it, drip some sweetener on it at 2%, drip some more of the original flavor that I'm testing on it, and get an approximation of what 1% sweetness would be like. Because by the time it evens itself out, the flavor profile is going to be a little withdrawn and diminished from the percentage that it is. But now I get to actually experience it with the sweetness to give me a better idea of what it can actually vape like. And I definitely have to line up on my agenda for next week to do some maintenance on the PC, because one of the fans in there, the bearings are starting to go. And every once in a while, about this time of day, the fans spin up to run a test, and I could hear it in the background. Hoping it doesn't get loud enough that you guys can hear it. But I can no longer put that off anymore. I've been waiting to put the new power supply in till I get the unboxing part of it recorded. And then obviously I planned on doing the maintenance on it whenever I swap the power supply out. It's like there's so much to do and just not enough hours in the day. Dog had to go out 5 o'clock this morning, so I let them out and I went to the bathroom myself and ended up going back to bed instead of staying up and actually being productive.
Attention everyone. According to Neil Pitts, it's the Fuji Apple Fa is the one I get soap taste from, not Cap. Had to look it up.
Oh,
that is
okay.
all.
Flavor art is very concentrated flavors most of the time. I wish I had struck the lottery or something. Because if I did, I'd get myself a gas chromatograph. I'd run all these things through the gas chromatograph to reveal the actual compounds that are inside each of them. And then I'd run it through AI. And I would have AI go and do a comparative analysis of all the results from all the flavors to identify which flavors came actually from a competing flavors company, or which flavors are sold by multiple companies that actually have the exact same compounds inside them. What differentiates Capella Fuji Apple from TFA Fuji Apple? I would really love to know that one day. You might not want to know. Yeah, that's true. That's a possibility. But see, I've always been, one of them dorky science guys that can never stop asking questions in class. Even if I totally understood what the lesson plan was, I always made the teacher go a lot farther into something than they ever planned on it. Legit to the point, I had a couple teachers when I was growing up in school. There was a couple teachers that I consistently got to the point where it was like, I honestly don't know the answer to that question. I'm going to have to look it up and get back to you. First time I heard that, I thought they were just trying to get me to, zip my mouth and sit down and be quiet. But they ended up coming back to me and they were like, we really like have this insatiable need for knowledge. I'm like, because it's not enough for me to just memorize stuff. I want to know something. I want to learn it. Because once you truly learn something, it's so easy to see other things that have the exact same behavioral characteristics. Some people say language is like that. If you learn enough languages, you start seeing patterns in the languages. This is one I think we're going to have to push beyond 5%. Because at 5%, it tastes like bazooka bubblegum. Not a whole lot of flavor. And the flavor's going away very, very quickly. Yes, it's a pink gum. But there's more sweetness to this than there is pink gum flavor at 5%. And we didn't add any sweetener to it. That's simply the sweetness from the VG itself that's revealing itself. So this bubblegum pink flavor, you're going to have to push it more than 5%. This may be one of those TFA flavors that you got to push it like 8, 9, 10%. If you truly want to still be able to recognize that bubblegum flavor. I want to set it off to the side, but I don't want to set it off to the side so far that I'm not going to see it when I go to do this. Dave Lloyd, hello and welcome. All right, next, what do we got? We'll get to the sweetener later. Gummy Fruity Gushy flavor from TFA. I was never into gummies. Like, I would have a Swedish fish once in a while if I got it for Halloween or something, but I was never interested in gummy worms. Gummy bears and that like. My wife was always interested in it. My kids always liked it. There's just never something that tickled my fancy. I was more into like Snickers bars, Milky Ways, or O. Henry's, that kind of thing. That's not what I'm smelling. I get that it's supposed to be some kind of a fruity concoction. Okay, maybe I get the gummy smell. It's not that far off for that bubble gum. Tastes like a watered down sweet tart. Right down to the chalkiness of it. That chalky characteristic you get from chewing a sweet tart. Now granted, the sweet tart's all sugar, so it's gonna be a lot sweeter than this. But this does remind me, who is it? TFA had a sweet and tart flavor. Yep. This is more accurate of a sweet tart than that is. Doesn't smell bad. These things don't want to... They aren't very good security devices. Thinking about a fruity gummy, I can recognize
Attention
the flavor,
everyone.
but I tried to do the opposite originally.
Alex, do you have any of the Hangson flavors from China? I know Wayne and other mixers say they have a few very good one. That is all.
It's got a very interesting mouthfeel to it. There's Vape Train Australia's Jam It. I've used that before with some juices that just didn't really have much characteristic to it. That Jam It like really made it fuse together to feel like a jelly. It's kind of reminiscent of a juice that I've added that to. I've got some Wonder Flavors gummies here before. They never really impressed me. I really like the flavor, but I don't know if I'd call it a gummy, gushy. Where is it? Gummy, fruity, gushy. Gummy as in... Remember the fruit stripe gum we used to have as kids? It was really punchy in the fruity aspect of the flavor, but the flavor didn't last but 2 seconds. This is what it would taste like about a second in to chewing that tiger stripe gum from when we were a kid. I want to vape this and see what she tastes like, because by the knuckle test alone, it's a delicious flavor combination. It could benefit from some sweetener being added to it. It's got a very unique mouthfeel, like across my tongue. It's not waxy. I guess that's where they're getting the gummy characteristic. Maybe I just need to eat some gummy worms and see what it compares to that. I don't know. And last but not least, Stevia Sweetener. Yeah, that's Stevia. It's pretty strong. Like, you could put a couple drops of this into your coffee if you're used to Stevia flavor. Monk fruit sweetener. It's got that typical Stevia. Not quite saccharin flavor, but definitely artificial sweetener flavor. I'm getting way more of that than I am the actual sweetness of it. Like, the initial burst I had in my mouth was definitely the sweetness of it, being, Stevia sweetener. But this lingering off-note, off-putting artificial sweetener characteristic. Now I know why everybody uses super sweet. Because you get the same punchy sweetness that this originally gave you, and then there's no off notes. There's no characteristics other than that sweetness slowly lingering away. I'm not even going to mix this one up into a test bottle right now. I will do this later And I'm actually going to do it the same way I did my other sweetener. I'm going to do a 2% solution testing it, and then I'm going to compare the two sweeteners on 2 drippers side by side that are exactly identical with the same test liquid, and see what the characteristics are of that sweetener, and then write that down. But overall, you know, it's like, it's okay. It's another one to add to the arsenal. I don't see myself using it unless I have a specific case use where I want a little bit of sourness, or I don't even know how to describe it. Like if I have a juice that's already sweet, but it needs to have like a different finish, that might contribute to help that take play as an enhancer. Robert Lawyer, hello and welcome. Hope your doctor's appointment went well, if I remember correctly. I think on the stream you said you had a trip to the doctor's. All right, so hot diggity, dog diggity, we've gotten past this part here. So now it's time to actually make our Neotame sweetener that we wanted to do. That I wanted to do. So we're going to get our beautiful hot plate stirrer out and, plug it in first, make sure that, she works before I go opening stuff up and measuring things out. Darren D, hello and welcome. Have to move the big beaker out of the way. Move my little tools out of the way so I can access the plug. Actually went in there quite nicely. All right, so we got her turned on. That's cool. All right, what are we going to set this to? I guess we should do a little research before we do this. So let me just set this thing to 70 degrees Celsius. And we'll let her start heating up. I'm wait for that to actually warm up. Oh yeah, she's heating up. Very nice. Hot diggity, dog diggity. I should do like I do with my power supplies. Just leave it sit there and let it run for a little bit. 85 is where I'd start. Yeah. That's what I was coming across. I don't have any of these linked in the description below, but I do want to show you guys these things. Just doing some Google searches for it. I'm like, it's because somebody's got to have done this before, right? You had to have made your own super sweet or something and documented it somewhere for other people to learn from. Do you create your own? Lots of people ask this question. This is the one that Google picked first. Just getting into DIY. I spent about an hour searching, no real luck. When a recipe calls for sweetener, sucralose, is it just something like easy sweets mixed in, or no? Edit for future searchers. If you're looking for sweetener, TFA sweetener and Capella Super Sweet are the ones used. With TFA recommended due to cap being too sweet. You must not drink any soda if you think that's too sweet. However, sweetener not recommended using at a start due to being a very poor crutch for crappy mixing. Yeah, that's true. Ooh, she getting hot. Very nice. So people obviously gave me the answers, try this, try that. But no, I want to know about making my own. And I looked at all these different things and all these different sources and, nothing. What do we got? Sweetener question, pros and cons, and why are some people completely against sweetener? Lots of different combinations and concentrations of responses there. Some people say don't use any sweetener. Some people say try adding 2%. Now, granted, they're talking about, TFA, and then you're talking about ethyl maltol, and they talk about how you can overdo it. And if you overdo ethyl maltol, it actually mutes your flavors. And actually, all sweeteners technically do that. They just, the desired characteristic is for you to mute the harshness that's in your recipes and leave you with a nice sweet flavor, as opposed to the harshness. So you're going to get the flavor you're looking for and
Attention
sweetness,
everyone.
no harshness.
According to Neil Pitts, you can now keep your coffee hot in the office now. That is all.
Actually, my mom bought me one of those hot plates. I just didn't have room for it on my desk. It's USB powered to boot. So it isn't designed to heat your coffee, but it's designed to keep your hot coffee hot longer. This thing's really working. We're at 62 already. Celsius, not Fahrenheit. Very nice. Yeah, well, you can obviously go watch Wayne talk about, flavor enhancers and ethyl maltol and sucralose and, all the different flavor modifiers that you have available to you. Can't believe YouTube's age-gated it. Seriously, that's pathetic. But, he's not immune to the same thing that we deal with all the time, talking about vapes and hardware, and he's gotten his fair share of strikes and age gating. So let's ask Grok, because I had a question. Because I'm looking forward to making my own sucralose, my own super sweet. And I noticed the Capella has citric acid as part of the ingredients in their recipe or in their label, telling you what the ingredients are that goes into their super sweet. So I'm wondering, does Pure Elm also use it? Is it something that's required for you to be able to dissolve it, sucralose, into propylene glycol? And so I went to Grok and I'm like, dude, does sucralose need citric acid to fully dissolve in propylene glycol? No, it does not. Sucralose can be dissolved fully inside of propylene glycol. It just needs heat and agitation. And, they talk about Capella Super Sweet or similar food concentrates. The citric acid is added to maintain a pH of 4 to 5.5.
According to Neil Pitts, Alex, do you know the boiling point for PG and VG? That is all.
No, but you can look it up. (187 to 188 degrees Celsius is the boiling point of pure propylene glycol. Now, granted, some of this stuff is 99.7% pure. The rest of that is water because it's hydrophobic. I'm hydrophilic. It absorbs water, so that's going to offset that temperature difference. But yeah, I'm not going to heat it up that much. Water's 106 degrees Celsius. Pure PG is 108. So if the PG boils faster, it's because of the water that's in it. But it's the perfect solvent, and it's why it works. It's relatively stable for us. There's your answer, 188.2 degrees Celsius. or 370 degrees Fahrenheit. So heating it up to 90 Celsius is not going to be an issue, and should dissolve that sucralose and the neotame very nicely. And each one of the answers that Grok gave you can actually be referenced and looked up. People ask the question about powdered sucralose and making your own. There you go. What did people say? Because Flavorist Sweetener is so expensive at $2 per ounce. It's not that it's expensive. It's the fact that we don't know what tomorrow holds. And I want to be able to do the science and figure it out. What percentage are these things that we're buying? And in the long run, I'm going to save money. So why not do it? Plus, for me, it's answering the curiosity question of, is Purellum Super Sweet and Capella Super Sweet both 20% sucralose? Or is the reason Purellum's a little sweeter because they're using a little bit less? And they're definitely using less ingredients by not adding citric acid to it. Not that citric acid is that expensive. I guess when you do it on volume, it does make a difference. Do a cost-benefit analysis. But plus I want to make my own and know that I can make it anytime I need to. Put it in a blender. There were people saying you take the PG and you put it in a microwave and heat it up, and then you add the powder to it and give it a good stir. But when you have fancy lab tools, you can do it right in front of you. So that's what we're going to try and do today. I'm going to go and move forward because none of these links actually answered my question. How to make sucralose DIY e-juice. That's the closest I could come to. Sweeteners are crucial ingredients in DIY e-liquids, and they can be used to add sweetness to your e-juice. To make your own DIY sweetener for e-juice, gather essential equipment and the ingredients such as the sucralose, PG, containers, syringes, pipettes, and bottles. To make your own DIY sweetener, gather the necessary equipment such as a kitchen scale, graduated cylinder, blah, blah, blah. For vape juice, visit the DIY vape shop and purchase the VG and PG and go make your own. You can purchase sucralose crystals or ethyl maltol crystals in suspension in propylene glycol 9 or 10 to 1. Gentle heat and mixture and agitate until clear. Other sweeteners available include aspartame and stevia. The most common sweeteners in the vaping industry is ethyl maltol and sucralose. Dilute sucralose in PG, place a 100 milliliter beaker on the scale and tare it out. Add 13 grams of pure sucralose powder to the beaker and 0.8 grams of citric acid crystals. Not necessary. A 10 solution of sucralose in PG should work fine, but it's important not to use simple syrup or to use other sweeteners that aren't actually just the sweetener you're looking for. Those little packets of sweetener, they have anti-caking agents and they all have expanders in there like maltodextrin that's added in there. So you're not getting 100% sucralose if you get that. But yeah, there you go. Back to 100%. There's the thing we did earlier. We got the boiling point. So no sense of putting this off. Okay. First thing that I'm going to do, now that I got this preheated, I'm going to shut her off to the side a little bit. I'm going to grab my scale because, see, I know for a fact this is 25 grams of neotame. So I don't need to measure it. I'm going to get out of it as much as I possibly can. If it's a little bit less, it's a little bit less, whatever. In order for me to make that as a 10% solution, I need to measure out 225 grams of propylene glycol. Hence the reason why I got this bottle out today. So
But if the sky would open up, you're staying home, you don't get out. You always used to love the rain, but LA changed you. No rain, no flowers, nothing's growing where your heart is fire. But baby, I bet you're cold without me, even when it's 90 degrees. Without me, I bet that you can get any sleep in that bed, lying awake. 'Cause I'm not there beside you, keeping you warm and I know. I bet you're cold. You're so damn cold. I bet you're cold. You're so damn cold. No rain, no flowers, nothing's growing where your heart is fire. But baby, I bet you're cold without me.
very nice.
It's 90 degrees.
All right, now I also want to be able to draw up some of this stuff. Now that I got it completely measured as what's going to be in here, we can get rid of our scale.
'Cause I'm not there beside you, keeping you warm and I know. I bet you're cold. You're so damn cold.
Let this cool off a little bit. Because this is labware, but I don't know if it's Pyrex. I don't know if it's heat treated appropriately to just slap it on there. Last thing I want to do is get this process started, and while it's continuing to heat up, this glass just shatters and goes all over the place. What a big mess that would be.
I pull into your driveway, it's a Saturday night. You look like $1,000,000 wearing that dress I like. You're smiling, but there's something missing in your eyes. Girl, I can tell that you have something on your mind. But I will
So I'm going to drop a little couple 5 ml syringes of this.
go like there's no tomorrow. Let's have a drink, just relax, all your problems will fade. If you're ready for a good time, count on me. There's a party in the backyard, dance your problems away. I'm all about the good vibes. I know
Set that off to the side.
do you know how much I love you, wanna see you smile. Where's the happy girl that I know with a heart on fire?
Drop our magnet down in there. And turn this back on. Insert our probe to measure the temperature. We'll set this thing up to 85. And let that heat up. I'm just going to let that run nice and slow at this point. I don't really want to agitate it too much. I just need to make sure that the fluid is heated evenly. And I can tell that's working because looking at the actual display on the front of this one, you can see that the temperature already went from 37 degrees Celsius down to 28 just by turning the agitation on. And there's no way about it. This is going to take time. Cool. Very nice investment. Cool. All All right, well, while this is working, I guess we might as well switch over. I'll roll the random recipe bumper, and we can mix up our random recipe, and we can come back to this once she's fully heated up. You spin me right round, baby, right round, like a record, baby, right round, round, round. Mallory Gates, hello and welcome. I keep forgetting you're on today. It's all right. There's the replay crew. It's asking a lot for people to watch all of the stuff I put up there. I mean, we were on for 6 hours on Tuesday. And go figure, after the show was over, I stayed on with Kenny, and turned out that the only thing that was missing, the only thing that was wrong with his entire audio chain was when Elgato did the update, it had lost the Ninja input that he created last week. Soon as he created that input and went back into Firefox and told it to send its audio to the Ninja link inside of Wavelink, everything worked flawlessly. So he made a save of that setting, and everything should be working perfectly for this week. So that's cool. All right, so what are we going to mix up today? I clicked on it, and I'm like, okay, what are we going to make today? And hard to believe, with 850 flavorings that I currently have in my inventory, I can make 21,719 recipes. They're not all going to be fantastic, but, you know, she is what she is. And every time you mix something up and you taste it, you learn something. Sometimes you learn a lot. Sometimes you only pick up a little tiny bit of information. And it takes a while for you to get acclimated and accept things that should be obvious, but sometimes they're not. Where's my liquid? There's that peanut butter we mixed up before. Peanut banana thing. Where's the one we just mixed up? I have that in a separate dripper. A Banango orange smoothie. Wayne mixed that up. We got that in our dripper here. So let's give her a try. Well, it's nice and tasty. And I flooded the coil. It didn't actually need a drip. You pull that off, get some full airflow on it. Wow, that's impressive. There's like this hollow characteristic to that recipe, though. Like, I truly do get the banana characteristic now, the banana flavor. There's a lingering flavor in my mouth, like a banana smoothie. I did get the brightness from the orange. What else was part of that recipe? milkshake. That's the cream that I'm starting to taste. But the fruit is so much more pungent, and it's probably because it needs a little steep a little bit longer for me. Mango. No. I get the orange. The orange is crisp, beautiful. It's like a... It's not like fresh orange. It's not an orange tang. Is that mango and orange playing off of each other? Is that why I can't identify it as a clean orange? My tongue has the mouthfeel of a dairy, but it certainly doesn't taste like a milkshake. I don't know. We'll have to come back to it next week. See what she steeps into. It is different than anything I've had before. It is an enjoyable vape. But without that milkshake really like being fully recognizable, I'm not getting it as a smoothie, milkshake smoothie. And maybe that's by design. I get some characteristics of the banana and some bright and fruity orange. But it's like a crushed orange candy. It's not like orange juice. I don't know. I like it, but it's not me. Possibly changing the fruit ratio to be more orange heavy, though it tastes pretty damn good as it is. You're right, it does taste pretty good as it is, and here we are a week later looking at it. The milkshake just pushes it further. Well, I'm not really tasting that milkshake. I get the dairy characteristic on my tongue, but that's it. I don't get the milkshake mouthfeel, the cream, not rich cream. It's not a powdered milk. It's gotten above that. More like half and half. You tried to make a smoothie and added some half and half to it. What else we got here? Banana tropical cherry with just banana cream, black cherry, and pineapple juice. No. Not a fan of the black cherry from TPA. Not one bit. Orange apple, just Fuji Apple and Juicy Orange, 10% each? No. And the 70-30? That must be formulated for a pod or a mouth-to-lung tank. Holy cow, does that computer fan sound bad. Slurricane, I love this one. And, yeah, sorry, folks. I had to make another 120 mils of it. I couldn't help myself. I put it everything. I've been putting it in everything that I've been testing and everything that I've been vaping on. Yep. Delicious. What else? Raspberry gummy candy. Rocky Tooney mixed this up for Advocate for Liberty show. Well, since I'm trying to learn this TFA gummy, gushy, fruity candy thing, maybe I should mix this up just so I have a basis of comparison because I'm not a fan of the gummies in the first place. And this comes from a reputable mixer who's really good at, you know, throwing all kinds of stuff up. One of my favorite ingredients that's now private on here that I vape all the time or try and mix up. That cinnamon Danish swirl muffin was made by Rocky Tooney. So I think I'm going to mix this up just to be able to experience it and use it as a comparison to that new TFA gummy flavor. Man, I wonder how accurate this thermometer is. Maybe I should have got my own thermometer instead of relying on this one being so accurate, because I already have vapors coming from this solution. We're at 74.3 degrees. See, we're already pretty warm. And I don't know if you can see it, but there's vapors coming off of this thing. Let's start adding our Neotame. This whole thing needs to dissolve inside there. That's pretty cool how the powder just slowly getting pulled down into solution. And the PG
Attention
tornado!
everyone. According to Neil Pitts, it's a PG tornado. That is all.
Okay, remember how I saved a certain portion of this? Glad I was staying back away from that when I was breathing that in. I got some PG that we reserved. There's 5. There's 10. completely dissolved whatever powder was left inside there. Just agitating it with my hand.
Attention everyone. According to Neil Pitts, I would shut the heat off now and let it stir to room temp. That is all.
Clicky Wanderer, hello and welcome. Happy Hippie 2005, hello and welcome. I'm trying to see how you shut the heat off without shutting the whole thing off. Guess I should have read the directions first. Digital display, constant temperature, magnetic stirrers, widely used in major universities, blah, blah, blah. Power supply, single phase, 60 volt, 120 hertz. Total machine power draw, 250 watts. 2 to 2000 RPM. 0 to 2000 RPM. Mixing capacity is 2 liters. Press the set key to enter the temperature setting mode or view settings. Press the set key to set the number of flashing. Sit in the setting mode. Press the up button to increase the setting value. Reduce down button settings. Press and hold will always increase or decrease to the desired value. Set up and then press the set button, set the setting mode, and return to the normal working measurement mode.
Attention everyone. According to Neil Pitts, set the heat to 0 and let it stir. That is all.
That's what I did. Okay. We'll continue on with our random recipe while she's cooling here. Set the temperature to 0. I'm waiting for the probe to kick into read. Go into read mode instead of set mode. Guess I should have downloaded the user manual instead of just the quick start guide that they gave you. All right, anyway. Whoops. Sorry about that. All right, so we need jelly candy from Capella. Lemon lime candy from Wonder Flavors. And raspberry gummy candy.
Attention everyone. According to Neil Pitts, do you need to do a 5 milligrams of that to equal a 3 milligrams of Nick in a mix? That is all.
Do you need to do a 5 milligram of that to equal a 3 milligram of Nick in a mix? For what? I'm going to be changing. I'm going to adapt the recipe. I just wanted to get the ingredients. Or were you asking about something else? Lemon gummy candy. And raspberry gummy candy. And TPA, a raspberry sweet. TPA's got 3 raspberries. Got sweet raspberry. We have regular TPA raspberry, and then we have raspberry ripe. Of the stuff on the hot plate? Oh, no. This is a 10% solution of Neotame, which is 6,000 times sweeter than sugar. Sucralose is 600 times sweeter than sugar. So what I've been looking at is Capella Super Sweet, from what people were saying, and the numbers are all over the place. There's nobody that has it definitively locked down. But my impression is that the Super Sweet that we're using is 20% sucralose. All right, so because it's 20%, it's twice as strong. So that would make it roughly 1,200 times sweeter. So the math boils down to this would be, because it's 3 to 6,000 times sweeter than sugar. 606,000, 10 times as strong. So it's 5 times as strong as super sweet. This 10% solution compared to 20% of super sweet. So 1/5 of the amount is what you need to use. 20% is what you need to use. to make it the same sweetness as super sweet.
Attention everyone.
It's a
According
sweetener,
to
it's not a
Neopets,
nicotine
I
replacement.
thought that was a nicotine replacement, but it's a sweetener. That is all.
Yep, Neotame's a sweetener. A sweetener that is 600 times 10 would be 6,000. Yeah, so it's 10 times sweeter than super sweet. So we'll give it a try like this at 10% solution. We can always thin it down to a 5% solution if it's still unmanageable. Like if I put 1 drop in and it's way too sickeningly sweet, no matter what I do, I can always cut it back to a 5% solution. So that'll make it 5 times stronger than super sweet. Or 2.5 times stronger if we cut it in half again. Yeah, I'm going to have to look up the directions for this hot plate because she's still hot. So I'm just turning her off. And then let it cool to room temperature. Very good. So let's adapt this recipe. And we'll make a 30 ml bottle of it. We'll do it at 3. So I can better enjoy the nuances of it. We'll hit save. And there's our actual recipe that we're going to be mixing up.
Attention everyone. According to Neopets, I thought it was the stuff in the disposables you were vaping that has no nick in it. That is all.
No. Nixamod is what you were thinking of. No, this is Neotame Sweetener. The same thing as Capella's Extra Sweet. This is supposedly Neotame Sweetener. But I'm guessing that Capella made it at 1% instead of 10% like I did. And if you sell this at 1% and you sell Super Sweet at 20%, they're going to be the same sweetness. Different sweetener, same amount of sweetening potential. Because everybody was jumping on board of the bandwagon when it first came out. They're like, hey, that's what the cheap Chinese disposables are using to sweeten their stuff. That's why it's so punchy and sweet compared to just super sweet. And super sweet, if you push the sweetness that high, you're going to kill your coils real quick in your pods. So they're using Neotame because they need to use 1/10 as much of it. So they came out with this extra sweet, and people used it, and they're like, this is no better than super sweet. Well, if they're only mixing it at 1%, I totally understand that. But I don't know what percentage they're mixing it up. I don't think anybody knows. So we mixed this up today at 10% solution, and we're going to try that in some of the pod recipes that we have, like that key lime pie. That's a really wonderful one, 30% flavoring. And it gives us plenty of chance to cut the sweetness down from super sweet, sub this out, and see how that affects the sweetness of that liquid. Holy moly. I used up all of my flavors. So I guess we'll have to use the new bottle because I only have 60 ml bottles that are Gorilla. Give us a chance to try our new ones out. I'll pick up some more of the 30 ml Gorilla bottles for like when I make salt nick from like pod systems and stuff. But this is going to be fine for DIY stuff. All right, first off, I guess we're going to go with our secret sauce. I need 0.93.
I don't know why, 'cause I don't like people pleasing. And sometimes they don't see what defines me, but I don't need them honestly, 'cause I got you.
How you like them apples?
Nobody else makes me feel
Can't see.
and lost, but you're not
Single draw the syringe. Bang on. Bonus. Jelly candy. Capella's jelly candy.
so tall, 'cause you're not like everybody else at all,
Smells like a lemon heavy Fruit Loops.
and everyone else is not.
0.3. One drop too many. Lemon gummy candy from Wonder Flavors.
You like to take things slow,
Also 0.3.
pressing anybody. That's just how I roll. Some people might say I am a
Smells like
I just do things my own way. I don't know why, 'cause I don't like
a very weak lemon.
and sometimes they don't see
Like if I use a real lemon, slice it in half, and use that in my tea, my Tazao tea, and then I come back to it like after the show's over at the end of the day, and there's this squeezed lemon laying on the counter, and I just kind of pick that up, held it like 6 inches away from my nose. That's kind of what it would smell like.
the only one who makes me talk and so tall,
0.3.
like everybody else at all. You're everything
One more.
everyone else is not.
Good. Raspberry gummy candy from Wonder Flavors. Well, this definitely smells like raspberry. Kind of reminiscent of the raspberry from OG Blue. You could whittle it out to only leave the raspberry smell. 1.2. Ooh, it's really tasty on the knuckle. Wow. All right, where's the other one? Sweet raspberry. TPA also 1.2. A lot more fragrant, a lot more raspberry punch, like raspberry taffy. What is the sweetener in there? It's a TFA sweetener added to raspberry. Is that all it is? So sucralose ethyl maltol and their plain raspberry flavor? I don't know. The impression I'm getting. We need 5.29 grams of PG. blend all that together. And 26 half grams of vegetable glycerin. Very nice. I really like these bottles. Gives you plenty of room to shake it up. And 20 cents a piece. Definitely saving money. Ooh, very, very heavy on the raspberry. It's going to need to steep out. I don't get this whole gummy characteristic, though. I get the bite from the nick that's in there. It's 3 milligram. I get a punchy, bright raspberry that turns into a flat raspberry flavor. Like you can tell that you were vaping a raspberry. I want to put this on. Try it. It's just lemon and raspberry, so you would think I should be able to shake and vape it. Still haven't got my package from Sourcemore. Last I heard, it was in California. There's some wick in here. I can't believe how easy it was to make our own Neotame Sweetener. I'm looking forward to when that sucralose gets here so I can actually make my own super sweet. Just tuck her in. Don't even need to fluff her out or anything. Look at that. Fully dissolved. There's no hint of any powder in there at all. Just need to decant it and then try it out. The initial test that I did with the PG that came out of the bag it's just like sucralose. There's no off taste to it. There's no aftertaste. There's no indexing ring on this. There we go. 70 watts, 0.12. Yeah, that should work. Be a little hot. If you get enough airflow, should be fine. Freshly dry burned coil. I mean, don't get me wrong, I get a raspberry flavor. Well, that is tasty. I don't get this gummy characteristic, though. Is it the way that it's muting the essence of raspberry that classifies it as a raspberry gummy? I have no sensation of any of that lemon in there at all. The raspberry by itself is too potent. And remember how I said that the Capella gummies tasted like a Fruit Loops? Like a bag of Fruit Loops? That's barely distinguishable from the raspberry in there, the raspberry flavor. I'm going to have to ask my wife to give a chuff of this when she gets home from work and see if she can notice it as a gummy. To me, it tastes like a muted raspberry flavor. I did get some initial sweetness when I first got it. I didn't get any spitback from it. I didn't get any crackle out of these coils. Maybe I should turn the wattage up some more. Go to 95. That's 3.44 volts. That muted the raspberry flavors even more. All right, I guess we're going to have to steep this and give her a try again tomorrow. I'm definitely going to revisit that on the vlog on Tuesday and see what she ripens into. I don't expect having to wait any longer than Tuesday for this, though. There's no creams in it whatsoever. It's just two different raspberries, a gummy flavor, and then this lemon gummy that's on top of it. The gummies that I've eaten in the past have got a distinctive, bright, juicy flavor profile that I'm not getting in this. I just don't get the gummy. It's not like slushy when you can recognize slushy in anything if you had a little slushy flavor to it. The gummy characteristic is just lost on me. She smells okay, but I don't really care for it. Probably about a 3 out of 10 of all the different ones I've mixed up before. It's probably the least enjoyable Rocketoonie recipe I've ever mixed up. And maybe it's because I can't taste gummy. Can't recognize it as gummy. Oh, well, you can't win them all. That's why I have my Slurricane. So I have my Cinnamon Danish Roll Muffins. I have so many different choices. Mango Sunrise. That's another one I could always go back to because I truly love it. And you mix it up, and I could be drinking my coffee, and I could take a vape of that, and it totally washes the coffee flavor out of my mouth and replaces it with that flavor profile. So be it. Like I said, you can't win them all. But I am really, really excited now to have my own 10% Neotame solution just sitting here. I just need to let that cool, and I can come back to it even tomorrow morning to decant that beaker. Throw it into a couple 120 ml bottles. Matter of fact, I could actually take what's left of it because it's only 240 ml. It's going to leave me 10 mils of reserve. And actually, I could probably only put 100 in each and make up a couple little bottles of 10 mil Neotame solution. I could drop that into the ladies' packages. And then those will go out probably Monday. And then they can give me their feedback on what they think of it as a sweetener. Just like that, man. We make our own sweetener now. And I'm really looking forward to when that sucralose gets here so that I can do the exact same thing with the sucralose. Maybe it is a good thing I ordered a gallon of PG. With me making my own sweeteners now, I'm definitely going to be burning through that. 250 mils at a time. I got enough left in this bottle that I can go and make the super sweet when it gets here. And that pretty much wraps up what I have accomplished or set on the agenda for today. I always say that I want to make sure that this Flavorist Diary is limited to about 2 hours, so people on the replay clue can, throw it on over the weekend and get caught up to where we're going. I will be documenting all this stuff, and it will be going on to the Discord server. If you haven't joined already, there's a link in the description of the video below, and you can join the Discord server and get access to these PDFs I'm going to be uploading this weekend. And, as the show goes on, the PDF I'm going to be uploading on there for all the flavors that I've been testing is going to continue to be updated. Eventually, it'll be finished off as one big, massive PDF with all 800 some flavors I have in my inventory.
According to Neil Pitts, Alex, what do you think would help that recipe? That is all.
Well, to be fair, number one, I need to vape it more. These are freshly dry burned coils, and I always have to go through like a tank worth of liquid on them before that goes away. And then I can actually notice nuances. I'm too much of a cheapskate to put a brand new coil in every single time I tried different flavors. I'd rather just, wait it out, vape on it for 3 days in a row. And the first day and the third day, the fifth day and the seventh day, write my impressions down on what I actually get out of it. I try to subtract that from my brain. And right now, the whole thing is the overall flavor profile is just too flat. What's the total percentage in this recipe? It's at 10% now. If I were to revisit this recipe after a week of review, unless this thing ends up blossoming into something more beautiful in the upcoming 7 days, I would remix this whole thing at 15% total flavoring. Just a simple percentage swap for the entire recipe and try it again. I don't see any potential source of ethyl maltol to mute the flavors that are in there, other than what's in the TFA sweet raspberry, which is, if I'm correct, half ethyl maltol, half super sweet. So if you push the super sweet, it should still push the sweetness of it. I'm not getting very much sweetness. And I didn't add any extra sweetness to it either. So it's just adding sweetness isn't going to change it from being a crap recipe in my book. It'll just hide the fact that I got after a dry burn coil taste in my mouth, a lackluster raspberry, an absent lemon. Because the lemon, normally when you add lemon to a recipe, it gives it a brightness. Even if you can't taste it as lemon, it makes that raspberry pop and shine. It's just a flat raspberry. Is it because I can't really taste the jelly and the gummy characteristics of it? What would I add to it? First, I'd have to see what it's like at 15%. And then maybe I would try Vape Train Australia's Jam It to see if that can like brighten up this raspberry flavor into something with a better mouthfeel than what it is now. And I'm curious to see what this super sweet or this extra sweet is going to do in there. What's that Neotame Sweetener do? If I throw a little bit of that in there, is it just going to be enough to fool me into thinking it's a raspberry candy? Raspberry gummy? What's a gummy taste like? Oatmeal cream pie. Drop that recipe. I'll share that in there. You dropped it on the vlog. Did I save that one? Creamy coat. There it is. Oatmeal cream pie. Oatmeal cream cookie. Neil were mixed up. I don't have any oatmeal cookie flavor. I have to get some. I think I have everything else in there. $27 Bears. I got a single flavor test that one to compare it. I think that's what I'm going to do. As soon as I'm done with all these TFA flavors, I got one more week of it where we got 6 flavors to do. And that wraps up the new TFA pack from Flavors. Maybe I think the first thing I'm going to do is get all the gummies together. Because if I can't enjoy any of them, I'm going to give them away. Because I don't want to mix with it. I'll give it to somebody else that might be able to enjoy it, might be able to taste it and recognize it as a gummy and not whatever fruit makes up that gummy. Like Swedish Fish is a punchy, juicy flavor. Cherry, if I remember. Strawberry, cherry, something like that. Gummy bears have never really fascinated me. For perfect example, my wife is taking a multivitamin right now because she's on this thing of losing weight and taking the GLP-1 shot. So, like, she wants to make sure she gets all the nutrients that she needs, especially with limiting her caloric intake. So she's taking a multivitamin every single day. It's in a gummy. She's like, here, try this. I'm like, no, I don't like gummies. Maybe I will try it just to get a gummy experience in my mouth so that I can give it a fair comparison. Gene Philippi Cartoon 65. Hello and welcome. Yeah, so I don't know, just disappointed, I guess. The raspberry gummy on the knuckle really tastes good. Better than the raspberry sweet does on its own. But it is a much toned down raspberry than raspberry sweet. And even raspberry sweet's never been good by itself in a recipe. I've always had to use other raspberries in it to try and accentuate it. And I do definitely need to get that oatmeal cookie from TPA. I don't have that one. Is that the only one I don't have? Irish cream from TPA. I got a couple other Irish creams, but I might as well order that when I place the order for the oatmeal cookie. So cool. That wraps up all the stuff for today's Flavorist Diary. I really want to express my appreciation to all of you guys for coming out and hanging out with me. We got to make some Neotame today. We tried 6 beautiful new flavors from TPA, including their sweet Stevia sweetener. And I don't like the aftertaste of Stevia, but, maybe we'll find some uses for that. We got 6 more flavors to do for that next week, and then we'll start moving on to doing, like, flavor groupings, like all the strawberries, and we'll do all the gummies first, and then we'll do all the strawberries, and then we'll just, like, pick different fruits and, like, dairy stuff and custards and try them all out. Custards, I'm going to have to wait until later. Matter of fact, I might start the custards early and only give you the 7th day of the custard. I could probably do it that way. It'd be a lot more entertaining, I think, than watching you mix up 6 more bottles and give me an initial impression on something that I've never been able to taste on the first day. Some of the custards I haven't been able to taste like what it's supposed to taste like. Like, I'll recognize it like a week or two in, but like it takes literally a month before I go, okay, yeah, that is a vanilla custard. But it is what it is, man. These are the flavorings we have to work with, and you just make the best of what you got. So my wish is always peace, love, and a hunky vape. I hope you guys have a happy Easter this weekend and go throw some candy out there and let the kids have some fun. Now that my kids are grown and gone, my wife and I think we're just going to do a lasagna on Sunday. Call it a day. But I will be back on Tuesday for another episode of the vlog. I got 4 videos I'm in the process of editing so I can get them up this weekend. I got those 2 packages. They're going to go out Monday. So much work to do. No sense in putting it off any longer. I'll say see you guys and be back on Tuesday. Have a great weekend.
Thanks for listening. We'll be back next week again for a fresh round.
Nothing's gonna get in our way. We will be the biggest band in town. Round and round the world we'll go, putting on the greatest show. So make sure that you don't miss out, just be there. We're taking our shot, bring what you got. We're going all the way to the top. We will hear the sound of 1 million people screaming our names when we're backstage. We're playing loud, surfing the crowd. Everybody's jumping around. Yeah, that's the place where I wanna be. Going on stage, headline on a Saturday night. Oh, 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 Saturday night. Oh, oh, oh. I'm gonna quit my job. Never wanna have no bars. I just wanna play my rock and roll like they do on the radio. Tommy's got brand new drums, and I still have my old guitar.